Hello, this is the tradesight U.S. stocks and futures market preview and domestic economic data roadmap for the shortened week beginning Tuesday, February 17th, 2015, and ending Friday, the 20th. Hope you've had a great trading week. It was a vertically upward week for the markets. Every single day was to the upside except Monday, and we did close at new highs. Here's the look at the ES front month futures contract. This is the daily chart. You'll notice not only did we close at highs, though, we got a signal that we've been waiting for on Thursday for a while, which is a Seeker 13 sell signal. We didn't think that was going to have a lot of impact on Friday's trading because a lot of people were gone leading into the long weekend, but we do now need to be aware of this as we head into the next week because that's a very important signal. And the last time we got a 13 sell signal was at the end of November. That led to a decline in the market from about 2080 on the S&P down to 1960, so 120 points. So we could be looking for something like that again. In addition, if we take a look at the trend with the 10-day moving average, it's got a close at 0.79. Now I should point out, whenever you get a close on the trend on the 10-day moving average at 0.85, that's usually a top in the market. It was the top at the end of December. For which led to a short pullback. It was a top that we got back earlier in the year. We have not had a trend actually get to a 10-day moving average close of 0.79. That's the lowest close in well over a year. So this is just screaming for a top here at this point. So every single day that we do kind of make new highs would be just making it worse. So just be aware of that. This is an extreme reading on the market. You can kind of write off Friday because of the light volume and the holiday environment. But now that we're past that, it's a problem. So we did trade 1.8 billion shares on the Nasdaq on Friday. Here's a look at the volume data. That was down a little from Thursday, which was the best trading day of the week for us for sure. That was the big volume day at 1.9. Strangely, the start of the week was low at 1.5 and 1.6, and then 1.6 on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, respectively. Those were some very light volume numbers out of the blue after a market that's been trading great volume ever since the first of the year. And then Thursday, we got the volume back. Friday, of course, a little light heading out. So that gave us the signal on Thursday, both the 13 sell signal and that trend reading. Both of those are extremely negative for the markets. So we're going to be keeping a close eye on any rollover in the market here. We can keep playing on the long side until the market actually does start to roll over. But just make sure you got your stops in place because once we do roll over, we may not come back for a while. Here's a look at the Nasdaq 100 daily chart, also closing at new highs at 43.84 for the year. It's been on quite a tear, obviously, at this point, and kind of breaking out of a nice base here. But you'll notice we gapped up Thursday and we gapped up Friday. So this 80, maybe 90-point move from Wednesday's close to Friday's close, most of it was not tradable. It was gaps. So just be aware of that. And that's never really a positive in terms of construction, which means it indicates that the top is even more likely. We're going to come back and fill those gaps anyways. Here's the SOX index trying to break out. But it does also have a 13 sell signal 3 days ago. And here's the biotech index sideways. And of course, we roll over here, that red static trend line will be the first target. Google gained 5 points on Friday, breaking out to new highs for the year. And Apple closed up 62 cents as well, also at new highs for the year. Our VIX dropped one more time to the 1469 area. That is the lowest close of the year on the VIX, which is also sort of a negative. It's not a negative by itself, but when you throw in the trend reading and the Seeker sell signal, the VIX certainly supports a rollover in the market at this point. Quick look at oil, which has obviously been an issue of late. Bounced back a little bit on Thursday, Friday after closing under 50 on Wednesday, back to 52.67. Again, I think that wall at the green line, the 56 and change number, that's going to be the major resistance if we get back there. So we'll be keeping an eye out for that level if it can climb back up these extra few points. All right, let's look at the intra-week action and see what we actually got from a trading perspective. This is the ES futures contract in 10-minute bars, so you can see the prior Friday's close, and then we opened basically flat on Monday. Very flat. Remember, there was very light volume Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. First 2 hours each of those days was just incredibly flat. We did drift a little lower Monday afternoon. Tuesday we gapped up. We did not quite fill the gap, and then we headed up. a little bit. Wednesday we opened dead flat and stayed dead flat. We closed dead flat. Nothing going on Wednesday at all. Then Thursday was our big trading day. Huge winners for us. Every 100% win ratio out of all of our calls, and they all went really well. This was the biggest volume day of the week. You can see we gapped up. We did not fill the gap. Unusual for us. Gap and go days are not usually our favorite, but there was just a lot of great triggers for us on Thursday with the volume back. And then Friday, as expected, heading into the long weekend. Small gap up, basically a dead flat session, narrow range, about 10 points overall on the ES. Here's a look at the Nasdaq Futures side. It's very similar, of course, but the gaps are a little more pronounced. We left gaps behind. Now, keep in mind, it's not good when you leave gaps behind. You usually come back and fill them. So the fact that we have left 3 gaps behind in the last week, which is unusual, only indicates that we probably need to go back down to fill them, and that would be fulfilling that market rollover that we're looking for. So we've got a gap all the way back to 42.10 on the NDX. That's 170 points back, and that's from this week. So just be aware of that. Something that can come back to haunt us, obviously. Let's take a look at the U.S. data this week. We are closed Monday. The stock market's closed. Banks are closed for the President's Day holiday. So it's a short week of 4 trading days. This is options expiration week, which means Friday will be dull with a lot of volume, what we call barbell volume. A little heavy at the beginning of the day and heavy at the end, but it's all options rolling into stocks, closing out positions. It's not real trading volume. Usually Wednesday and Thursday are the biggest trading days of the options expiration week. Somewhere in there we get what we call options unraveling, where they unravel the options positions for the month and roll them to March. So that's usually the bigger trading range day of the week, is either Wednesday or sometimes Thursday. Since it's a short week, it could be either day. We'll be keeping an eye on it. Usually starts after the first hour of play. Monday, obviously, no data because the markets are closed. Tuesday, Empire Manufacturing Index an hour before the open, and the NAHB Housing Market Index 30 minutes in. Not a big deal. Wednesday, the MBA Mortgage Index, housing starts, building permits, the PPI, and then 15 minutes before the stock market, capacity utilization, industrial production. And then the minutes from the last Fed meeting come out in the afternoon at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Thursday, we've got the weekly initial and continuing jobless claims data. We got Philly Fed and leading indicators 30 minutes into the market. The weekly natural gas inventories number an hour in, and 90 minutes in, the weekly crude oil inventories. That's usually on Wednesday, but it gets pushed to Thursday on the shortened trading week. Friday for options expiration, we have no data. So not only do we have options expiration to keep us locked in, but nothing to get us moving earlier. So Friday's almost certain to be a dull day. We will be in the lab, calling the markets as usual, trying to help you make some money. We hope everybody has a great trading week. Charts brought to you by eSignal. Have a great long weekend.